All right, let's say we've got this nice design and we're trying to connect our pieces so that instead of just having a flat edge that's going to need to be glued down to another flat edge, we actually have a mechanical connection, a little zigzag going on. So a little part of the piece I've got highlighted needs to extend down into the dark blue part of the base. Well, let's go ahead and figure out, okay, part 2 needs to be modified. So let's find part 2 and let's actually figure out what it is. I think that'll be front and back, okay? And let's open the sketch that created it. So let's edit that sketch. So what we're going to have to do is have a little part of it stick down. So we're going to have to open up the sketch and let's add a little rectangle along the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to turn on my trim tool and delete that line. You've got to delete it twice because you drew the rectangle on top of the other line. And now I need to add some dimensions, all right? So I'm gonna just make some stuff up. Let's say from here to here we'll just make numbers that are easy to remember. 1 inch, and from here to here is, we'll say 2 inches. You would probably want to make it symmetrical and take your time to make it look nice. But now we've got a piece that sticks down, okay? Well, how far does it stick down? We didn't really dimension that. So let's go back to that sketch. We forgot to dimension how far down it sticks. Well, how far down do we want it to stick? Right? This, when I say stick down, I mean this. So how far down should this go? Well, just far enough to go through the piece at the bottom, which is a 1/4 inch thick. So this dimension right here should be a 1/4 inch. Check. All right. Now, if we look at the assembly, we can see some interference going on at the bottom. So we need to carve out an empty space for that little tab we created. So let's open up the bottom piece, and I don't know exactly which piece is on the front, but we'll figure it out. So let's look at this view, and we need to create an opening. So I'm going to use my rectangle tool again to create an opening. Instead of a tab, we got to have an opening to receive the tab. I'm going to turn on my trim tool and trim away that line. And now I'll turn on my dimension tool and make sure that these dimensions match the dimensions of the piece. It was a 1 inch and 2 inch offset from the corner. Now you can see it turned out it was on the wrong side, but that's okay. Let's go ahead and add it symmetrically to the front side of the Part Studio just to show. So let's go to that bottom sketch. And we'll go ahead and add that corner rectangle. We'll go ahead and line it up right there. And line it up right there. And then we'll turn on our trim tool. Oh, I think this is going to be, I think this is not going to be in the right spot. I think it's going to be 1 inch and 2 inches from the other side. Isometric. Oh no, turned out it was right, but as you can see there's a gap right there, so we didn't make the hole the right size. So it needs to be just a 1/4 inch wide, right? That bottom tab is only a 1/4 inch thick because that's the thickness of the wood we're using. That's how far we extruded it. So now I go back to that bottom piece and I need to throw in some dimensions showing how big this opening is. It's only a 1/4 inch. So turn on the dimension tool, say from here to here, that dimension should only be 0.25. Same thing on this side. that little indentation should only be a 1/4 inch. All right, so now when I see my assembly, there you go, and there's no gap. So that's how you would go about creating a tab and an opening to receive that tab. Just keep in mind that the thickness of the wood that we're using is a 1/4 inch thick.